A data breach costs millions on paper, but the real damage shows up months later, where money can't buy anything back. Imagine your company as a small city. A cyber attack is a fire in one building. You can pay firefighters and rebuild the facade quickly, but the streets, the alarms, and citizens' trust also need fixing. That work takes policy, practice, and time. Today we'll map the visible bills and the slow, hidden costs that can hollow out growth. Stay with me. You'll want the checklist at the end. First, the visible bill. Forensics teams arrive and poke through logs. Lawyers draft disclosures and regulatory filings. You notify customers and fund credit monitoring. You restore systems, patch servers, and perhaps pay a ransom. Downtime halts sales and support lines clog. These line items are painful but predictable. CFOs can model them and boards can approve them. But these invoices are only the opening act. There's a longer story unfolding behind the scenes. Numbers grab headlines. For context, a major industry report put the 2024 global average cost near $5 million per breach. That figure matters. It helps insurance underwriters and auditors speak the same language. But it also lulls leaders into thinking the problem is just financial. The bigger damage hides as eroded revenue, delayed products, and reputational decay. What looks like a one-time hit often becomes a years-long drag on growth. And that reality is harder to spot. Trust is the invisible currency. After a breach, customers reduce spend and some leave entirely. Prospects pause deals until security checks clear. Partners add gating controls and slow integrations. Crucially, churn spikes often appear 6 to 12 months later, not immediately. That delayed reaction fools leaders into complacency. The slow bleed cuts future ARR and complicates forecasting. We'll look at brand and market effects next, and why early silence can make matters worse. PR teams can fight fires, but reputational damage lingers. Negative articles resurface with each new product announcement. Review sites and forums act as permanent records of failure. Marketing budgets rise to maintain the same pipeline. Worse, hiring conversations shift. Candidates ask about the breach before salary. Brand damage touches recruiting, partnerships, and valuation. Next, we'll examine how markets punish or forgive based on the quality of your response, and why transparency matters to investors. Public markets react quickly and remember longer. Stock prices dip on disclosure and sometimes underperform peers for months. Analysts watch two things closely: how fast you contain the incident and how honest your disclosure proves to be. Companies that communicate clearly and show measurable remediation tend to recover faster. Poor answers compound investor doubt. Up next, the operational fallout that hides in engineering roadmaps and product delays. Breaches wreck roadmaps. Engineering teams stop new features and pivot to security tasks. Product launches slip and sales cycles lengthen due to added security questionnaires. Each diverted sprint is opportunity cost you can't invoice. The downstream effect compounds quarter after quarter if you don't restore normal velocity. So how do teams prevent that spiral? The answer lives in detection, playbooks, and disciplined prioritization. Details I'll unpack in the practical roadmap section. People burn out fast after an incident. Security, IT, and comms operate at crisis pace. Team members take time off or resign. Recruiting becomes harder as candidates search news about your breach. Replacing senior talent costs more than a headhunter fee. It costs institutional memory. Culture frays when blame replaces curiosity. Later, I'll show specific steps leaders use to support teams and reduce attrition risk during recovery. Regulators often start a long conversation after a major breach. GDPR cases and other enforcement actions can lead to fines and mandatory oversight. That oversight means audits and reporting for years. Public companies also face stricter disclosure rules. Regulatory attention drains leadership time and restricts flexibility. You may settle the fine, but still live under enhanced scrutiny. Next, we'll address why cyber insurance helps, but won't solve these non-financial damages. Cyber insurance cushions costs, but it's not a magic wand. Policies often exclude specific attack types and regulatory fines. Carriers now require proof of controls like MFA, EDR, and backup maturity. Claims hinge on meeting those obligations. In practice, insurers mitigate immediate cash shock, but don't restore reputation or product velocity. Knowing policy limits and aligning controls to underwriter expectations is essential. Up next, the legal tail and how litigation can drag on for years. Not every breach targets personal data. Attackers sometimes steal source code, product designs, or client proposals. Stolen IP can surface months or years later and change competitive dynamics. You may never see the full impact if exfiltrated assets leak quietly. That hidden theft shifts strategy and undermines future products. Later, I'll explain containment and monitoring steps that limit exfiltration and reduce long-term competitive harm. Third-party risk bites companies repeatedly. Vendors with broad access become attack vectors. After a breach, customers demand stricter contractual controls and audits. Key clients may leave because their risk thresholds change. Managing vendor tiers and demanding security evidence costs time and money. The fallout often forces renegotiation of contracts and adds compliance work. Up next, a pattern emerges across incidents and a playbook for avoiding repeat mistakes. Security debt compounds quickly. Quick patches without root cause fix create recurring exposures. Common patterns include delayed detection, third-party access, and unpatched systems. Winners aren't the breach-free companies. Winners detect fast, respond clearly, and rebuild systematically. That means investing in detection, playbooks, and honest disclosure. In the next section, I'll explain why recovery needs 5 coordinated disciplines, not just cash, and how leaders orchestrate them. Money buys tools, it doesn't buy trust. Recovery requires 5 disciplines: technical excellence, transparent communication, governance, cultural change, and resilience by design. Think of a city rebuilding streets, retraining firefighters, and rewriting codes. Each discipline needs leaders who measure progress and accept accountability. Boards must see evidence, not promises. Next, I'll offer a concrete, practical roadmap you can apply before, during, and after a breach. Before a breach, prepare and practice. Map controls to a recognized framework and prioritize gaps. Enforce phishing-resistant MFA and least privilege access. Segment admin accounts and remove shared credentials. Tier vendors by access and require breach SLAs. Run phishing simulations that coach, not shame. Pre-draft customer and employee communications and ready an incident landing page. These steps shorten response time and protect trust. Next, we'll cover detection, backups, and testing that speed recovery. Improve detection and backup posture. Deploy EDR with 24/7 monitoring and block mode for known threats. Centralize logs and tune alerts to reduce noise. Maintain immutable, offline backups and test restores regularly, not annually. Establish containment runbooks and exercise them with cross-functional teams. These moves reduce dwell time and shorten mean time to respond. Coming up, the exact checklist for the critical first 72 hours of an incident. The first 72 hours decide most outcomes. Contain first. Disable compromised accounts, segment affected systems, and rotate keys. Assemble an incident command with security, legal, comms, and operations. Establish facts quickly and separate confirmed from suspected. Notify counsel and insurers to preserve privilege and claims. Communicate empathetically and set update cadences. Log every action for forensics and regulators. Later, we'll discuss rebuilding trust through audited improvements and visible metrics. After containment, rebuild and reform. Close root causes, remove risky tech, and patch comprehensively. Commission an independent audit and share high-level results with stakeholders. Modernize architecture by segmenting networks and adopting zero-trust principles. Improve telemetry to measure dwell time, MTTD, and MTTR. Support staff with time off and mental health resources. Conduct blameless postmortems and fix processes rather than people. Up next, how to communicate public updates without making the situation worse. Words matter in a crisis. Start with empathy and clear facts. Explain what data and systems are affected and outline protections like credit monitoring or resets. Describe steps taken in future mitigations. Set expectations for updates and provide a central information page. Speak plainly. Avoid jargon. Transparency means accuracy and cadence, not speculation. In the final section, I'll share the metrics you must track to prove real recovery and a short list of quick wins to gain momentum. Measure what matters. Track MTTD and MTTR. percent of alerts investigated within SLA, MFA coverage, and restore success rates. Monitor customer churn, NPS recovery trends, security questionnaire pass rates, and sales cycle length. Tie these metrics to quarterly OKRs and report progress to the board. For fast momentum, enforce phishing-resistant MFA, enable EDR with 24/7 monitoring, segment critical systems, back up crown jewel data weekly, and run tabletop exercises. Those quick wins lower both likelihood and blast radius. If this helped, please like and subscribe for practical recovery playbooks. Comment one security improvement you'll start this week.